What's going on, Review Squatches? It's your boys.
What are review squatches?
Well, what if, like, majority of our audience is Sasquatches? They'd be watching our podcast going, because that's them laughing.
What's going on, review squatches? As always, he's Mike.
And he's a posh bastard.
And we got some King Arthur coming at you.
Legend of the Sword.
So, what'd you think going into this?
I was really excited for this movie. King Arthur's probably one of my favorite stories of all time. Like, as a kid, that movie, The Sword and the Stone, that Disney movie, loved it. Even that Clive Owen one, I liked it because that's like a realistic version. But I've always wanted a live-action telling, like, with magic and all that good stuff. And when I saw that Guy Ritchie was doing this, I was like, okay, well, this is going to be something different.
Yeah, Guy Ritchie's fucking brilliant, man.
Yeah.
Like, he's just a smart cat, and with...
If you got time, go check out the Guy Ritchie Joe Rogan.
Oh, yeah, that was fantastic.
He goes on to Joe Rogan's podcast and he talks about this movie. The guy's a genius. I think at a certain point during, like, what was it, the first 30 minutes, me and you just kind of looked at each other like, this movie's killing it so far.
Oh, dude, it starts fast, it's hard, it hits you, and it's like...
It's very full of Guy Ritchie-ness, if that makes sense.
It sets up the movie perfectly.
The dialogue, the way they intercut between action and explaining what they're talking about.
It was very Ocean's 13.
Yeah.
You know how Ocean's 13 does that?
Like, first we're gonna enter the bank vault, and then it's, Don Cheadle calling out the case. Or whatever. You remember that?
I do. That's okay. So, yeah, it sets it up perfectly. So, like, from the first 45 minutes, because the movie was long, it was like 2 hours.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel long, which was nice.
Paced perfectly.
It was paced beautifully.
What was that you whispered to me during the theater?
About what?
It's Hercules and Zeus or something?
Oh, there's a ton of religious allegory in the whole movie. So, let me explain.
Okay.
So, you know how a lot of stories, such as, like, Christ, Zeus, Hercules, Moses, King Arthur, it's always about some king or some person in power that has to go away as a young child and then come back to save his people. So in this, it was King Arthur has to get sent away for him to come back and pull the sword out of the stone.
I didn't get that at all.
Same thing with, like, Christ, where he has to go travel to Bethlehem, become...
But wouldn't that be like a classic storytelling trope?
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah. It's not just... I get where it comes through from, like, the religious perspective, but, like, I would say all storytelling can be brought down to, a basic format, and that's probably one of the more basic ones.
Oh, that's the most basic as it gets.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what that says about religion. What were some of the strengths, you think?
Dialogue. The dialogue in this movie kills it. There's so much fucking exposition in this movie, and you don't care. Like, you're literally just sitting there like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. And it's like, it's just exposition, battle. Like, it's... The way they handled the dialogue in between the characters in this film was very good.
Right.
The CGI was a strength, but it's also a weakness for me just because of one scene in particular.
They lost it.
The opening 5 minutes of the movie is, I would put on Guardians 2 level of great cinematic openings. Like, Baby Groot dancing. But this is like what was his name? Mordred?
Mm-hmm. The big bad?
The sorcerer Mordred is attacking Camelot on these giant elephants. Like, they're bigger than the fucking Oliphants.
In Lord of the Rings.
And I turned to you in the theater, I'm like, these things are fucking huge!
Yeah, they're like mountainous size.
They're the size of mountains. And they're just wrecking shit. And Mordred's just evaporating fucking soldier after soldier. And then King Uther, Arthur's father, does just one of the most badass things by sacrificing his...
Dude,
Dude, you remember that? I just fucking remember that.
He's just running to the end of this bridge that got knocked off by the elephant so he can jump onto the elephant, and all of a sudden you just see this horse just...
Like, the horse is literally going... off the fucking hedge, dude.
Oh, man.
My God, Daddy.
Remember, we looked at each other like, what the fuck?
He fucking just ganked that horse.
Oh, dude, it was awesome.
He did that horse so dirty. I mean, that horse was flailing. If that horse couldn't have been more... What were some of your strengths?
For me, the fighting and the cinematography were spot on. Like, some of those fight scenes. Oof.
That movie was shot very well.
It was shot very well.
There's a couple scenes where it's like the way they show the action is instead of just following the character, it's like side POV and it's just their faces and
them running.
Yeah, and like at first I'm like it was very jarring, but then I'm just like this is actually brilliant because it's showing the distress on their faces.
For me, it was that overhead shot of them running through the city. So it was like almost like a Pac-Man scene.
Yeah, waka waka waka. Yep.
But seeing them run and then turning away from the thousands of guards chasing them. More like 100 guards chasing them. Oh, dude, it was shot beautifully.
Yeah, that was good.
But for me, a couple of weaknesses. Well, the big one was that CGI toward the end of that final fight.
When he's slow-moing through the soldiers.
When he finally unlocks the power of the sword, I guess.
The legend of the sword.
Yeah, it was rough, that last little CGI bit.
Yeah. And that's literally right before the final fight. Like, that's the final fight leading up to the final fight. And it's just some of the worst CGI. It's very reminiscent of Christopher Lee and Yoda.
Yeah.
Like, I turned to Yoda just like, oh.
But this is 10 years later.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, more than 10, right?
It's
12? 2002? 2003?
So 15? Whatever.
Yeah.
It's like 15 years later.
I think 2003.
So you can see just the budget went towards the rest of the movie.
Yeah. It was, you know what I didn't understand? And I guess this is a story aspect for me. What the fuck was the point of him getting bit by the snake?
Right before the final fight?
Yeah, so like, he throughout the movie he's got this mage, this female mage who's helping him.
Who will remain nameless?
She doesn't have a name, she's just the mage.
She is credited as the mage.
I have my money on her being Morgana.
I got my money on her being Merlin.
But they credit Merlin, because they only show a hooded figure, they credit Merlin, a male played that hooded figure. And we turned to each other and go, yo, is Merlin a chick?
Wait till we don't get a sequel.
I know, we'll never find out. We gotta find Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
And don't think we didn't notice your fucking cameo there as that guy who did... I don't want to get hanged.
That was it. Can we use your roof? I want to get hanged.
That's totally Guy Ritchie in a cameo. But there's a point where Arthur has to get bit by a snake and take the venom. And he starts tripping out and they play this awesome fucking medieval song. Or whatever type of song that is. But he's just like tripping out in the woods and he sees these trees coming to life.
I am Groot.
Yeah, like literally Groot people. And it does nothing.
Yeah, because in the next scene is he's in the tower.
And this giant snake comes in and fucks everybody up.
Like, you didn't need to get bit.
What did he get bit for? Was it so this big snake didn't eat him? We had already...
But the mage was controlling the snake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we had already established earlier in the film that the big snake, who saves him from this bat... There's like a Batman-esque scene in this film. Very, like, giant bats are attacking him. Yeah, in a dark cave. He's flying through it. Like, it's just... But, like, the snake saves him earlier in the film. Didn't attack him afterwards.
Out of respect.
That props, yo. But then just looks at him, drops his fangs, and he's like,
"We cool?
Yeah, remember what I did for you again." Like, I would have been so pissed because he goes, "I don't like snakes," and the mage is like, "No, but he does," and then it just bites him on the neck.
Then he trips balls, and then he fights.
I think she was just like, "Yeah, you gotta try this, Arthur. Try this shit." Man. He's like, "Oh yeah."
If you had to give this a rating, what would you rate it?
Definitely go check this out in theaters. This is a movie that needs to be seen in theaters, just based on its visual aspects.
And it's just not getting a ton of.
I don't get why this is getting rated such a low score. This movie's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. So go check this out in theaters.
It's not like Gods of Egypt. This is a good movie.
Right, it's actually
yeah, Guy Ritchie delivers.
Yeah.
Guy Ritchie definitely delivers.
But as always, he's been Michael.
And he's a posh bastard. Keep it tight, reviewers.